please be seated. My name is Laura Haynes, President of the Alumni Board of Governors, and it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome you to the 70th Annual Alumni Award ceremony. In 1941, the Alumni Council marked the university's 50th anniversary by awarding medals to alumni for distinction in their fields of specialization and for service to society. It is in this spirit that we gather here today. The men and women who join me on this stage have used their extraordinary talents to better this university, their fields of expertise, and our world. The medals and awards they receive are symbols of our admiration and our gratitude. The Alumni Board of Governors Awards Committee had the difficult task of choosing the 2011 honorees from among hundreds of worthy candidates. Although these impressive alumni and soon-to-be alumni, whom we honor today, have varied experiences and accomplishments, they share with us the pride and common experience of our education. Those whom we celebrate today are, as one nominator wrote, torchbearers from graduation to the present for the core values, intellectual vigor, and demanding standards of the University of Chicago. And now, please welcome University President Robert J. Zimmer.
Good morning and welcome. We're gathered this morning here in Rockefeller Chapel for the Annual Alumni Award celebration, a special celebration to honor alumni for individual achievements, contributions to society, and a commitment to the university and its values. The Alumni Award ceremony, being a gathering of university alumni and the entire university alumni community, which of course is broad in field of study when at the university and broad in achievement as alumni, is itself closely tied to the history of the University of Chicago. William Rainey Harper, the university's first president, understood very well the importance of gathering the university community together. In fact, he conceived of convocation itself not only as a time of granting degrees, but as a gathering of the entire university community. Harper understood that even in the university's very early days, that it was a complex institution and that it was likely to become only more so over time. He believed that such a university needed to reaffirm on a regular basis the strength and purpose that comes from community, and that it needed to celebrate the unity of spirit of the university as a whole that made it much more than a simple collection of its constituent parts. Therefore, the gatherings of the university community become key moments of reaffirmation of the underlying unity of the university itself. Just as we will do when we confer degrees at convocation next week and welcome a new group of alumni, we come together today to recommit ourselves to our highest ideals, the pursuit of scholarship in an environment of open, intense, rigorous inquiry, and the belief in the power of education immersed in such a challenging environment. We celebrate together today the outstanding contributions and impact on society of members of our university community, and we reaffirm the lifelong commitment and relationships we all have with the university. When the University of Chicago was founded and the first convocation was held shortly thereafter in 1893, there were, of course, no alumni. We now graduate thousands of new alumni each year. We hope and intend that alumni leave with the capacity to analyze diverse situations with care and with discipline, and that they go forward and use that ability to succeed and contribute in whatever path they choose. In fact, alumni leave our university and become leaders in almost every form of human endeavor. Among the award winners that we recognize today are alumni, faculty, and students whose contributions are as diverse as the university we represent. We recognize professional career achievements, public service, service to the university on the part of alumni, outstanding work of our faculty, and outstanding contributions by our students. All of this work reflects the very highest aspirations of the University of Chicago. From Harper's time to the time that you spent on campus to the present, the university has seen many changes. We will see many more changes in the future. But there has been and will always be a crucial constancy as well. That constancy will be the enduring culture of inquiry and intellectual rigor in research and in education. It has been and will be manifest in different ways, but the underlying culture remains. To sustain that culture requires the effort of those of us on campus, faculty, students, staff, and administration, to foster and renew this culture through our work every single day. But it is likewise essential that our alumni around the world remain passionately committed to this culture and help us preserve and enhance it as well. It is only through the combined effort and commitment of faculty, students, staff, administration, alumni, and friends that the university and our future students and alumni can achieve our highest aspirations. Through your presence here today, you are expressing your commitment to the university. I thank you for all that you do for the university and all that you will do as I welcome you again to the 2011 Alumni Awards ceremony.
I'm Elizabeth Davenport, Dean of Rockefeller Chapel. Alumni Weekend is a time of celebration when we seek out old friends and renew our ties to one another and to the university. At this hour, when we acknowledge the achievements and service of some of our most exceptional alumni and students, we also pause in a moment of silence to remember those who have gone before us. May we keep their memories always close.
Good morning. I am Max Lightman. On behalf of the Alumni Board of Governors, it's my pleasure to present the Howell Murray Alumni Association Awards. 50 years ago, the first class of student medalists was honored for enhancing the vitality and creativity of life in the college. Since then, more than 600 outstanding students have become a part of this prestigious group. I'd like to recognize the members of this community who are in the audience today. Will all the past Howell Murray Award winners please stand? Thank you for your dedication both while in the college and since you have set high standards for our 16 new Howell Murray recipients. Will the 2011 Howell Murray student medalists please rise? This year's honorees have shown leadership in a wide range of activities. They have worked with the local immigrant communities and tutored high school students. They are student athletes, choreographers, fashion stylists, and performers. They have responded to the global tragedies by raising awareness and funds for the people of Haiti and Japan. They brought fun to campus, writing the Maroons crossword puzzle, leading cheers as the university's mascot, and crafting a Guinness World Record-breaking scavenger hunt. And they have done all of these while achieving high academic honors. These students have made a major impact on life in the college. We are eager to see the ways in which these dynamic individuals will enhance the university community as alumni. It is now my honor to present you with the recipients of the 2011 Howell Murray Alumni Association Medal. Please hold your applause until all of the medalists have been announced. Cindy Augustine, Mark Andre Allen, Stephen Bonnet, Grace Chapin, Claire Denz, Jordan Dexter, Marie Jo, Judith Kituku, Diana Lee, Alan Linton II, Marie Otsuka, Graham Rosby, Rohan Thadani, Omaris Zamora. And there are two medalists who could not be here with us today, Greg Nance and Mark Redmond. And now we will begin presentation of the 2011 Alumni Awards.
Nobel laureates, artists, beloved professors, dedicated alumni, winemakers, and history makers. Over the last 70 years, the University of Chicago Alumni Association is proud to have honored many exceptional alumni. Alumni such as Edwin Hubble, world-famous astronomer who changed our understanding of the universe. Richard Hunt, internationally renowned sculptor. Jay Berwanger, first Heisman Trophy winner and longtime university volunteer. Barbara Bowman, founder of the Erickson Institute for Early Childhood Education. David Broder, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and political columnist for The Washington Post. And Joanne Simpson, first woman to receive a PhD in meteorology and served as NASA's lead weather researcher. These are just a few of the many alumni leaders the University of Chicago has celebrated since it was founded more than a century ago. Today, we welcome you here to continue this rich tradition of acknowledging graduates and thanking them for significant contributions to the university and to the world. Their discoveries and accomplishments shape our lives today and the future of those who follow.
I'd like to thank all the past alums and especially donors of this award, and to who the award is even named after, for creating such opportunities for students to have something to aim for and to acknowledge the work that students have done. And for me personally, it really does mean a lot.
The thing that made the Alumni Service Medal in 2007 different was that I was paired in the march and on the stage there with James Dewey Watson, the Nobel laureate for his discovery in DNA. And it was a very prestigious award to me, and I'm just so thrilled to be recognized for that. And I've enjoyed all the things that I've done on behalf of the university, and to receive an award for something that you really enjoy doing, and to have the feeling that some of the things that you worked for and supported have made an impact on the campus. So it was a form of multiple fulfillment.
The University of Chicago Alumni Medal is very special to me for a number of reasons. I think it's most important to me because it represents the not only approval but the recognition by the university community and my fellow alumni of the contributions that I've been fortunate enough to make.
Today, the Alumni Board of Governors presents a new class of honorees to induct into this remarkable group. We salute these individuals for all they have achieved. They inspire us all toward excellence in our own lives.
To this year's winners, I'd like to say hearty congratulations. You deserved the award. It's a very competitive field, and I'm sure that you'll treasure your award in coming years as I do mine.
Hello everyone, my name is Damon Cates, and as Executive Director of the University's Alumni Association, I have the pleasure of working with volunteers and seeing how my fellow alumni improve upon the legacy set forth by those that have gone before them. Volunteers are committed to what is distinctive about the University of Chicago and help create ties among their fellow alumni, attract the most promising students, raise support for the institution, and act as advocates for the university around the world. Today we honor a select group of alumni volunteers whose contributions will benefit the university community for many years to come. And now Alumni Board of Governor member Greg Marecki will begin by presenting the Young Alumni Service Awards.
The Young Alumni Service Award honors outstanding volunteer service to the university by an individual aged 35 years or younger. As you have already seen, service to the university often begins on the first days on the university campus and continues for many decades after graduation. Our two Young Alumni Service recipients are two of Chicago's strongest leaders. They serve as models for alumni of all ages, and we look forward to having them as lifelong contributors to the vitality of the University of Chicago. The 2011 Young Alumni Service Awards go to Samuel Cohen Salal and Corn Phillips. Samuel Cohen Salal, would you please come forward? Samuel has been instrumental in revitalizing the Alumni Club in Paris. Through imaginative programming and highly persistent personal outreach, Samuel has brought together local alumni from all areas of the university and enriched the experience for both students and alumni in France. Samuel, for your imagination, your persistence, and your commitment to the University of Chicago, it is our pleasure to present you with the Young Alumni Service Award.
In most universities, you remember the classes you took. At the University of Chicago, we remember the professor we had. They are the one who taught us how to think, how to challenge ideas, how to have fun. And it has been my pleasure to continue with fun with the Alumni Club of Paris, where I'm pleased to say that we have now more than 600 members. Our group has facilitated mentoring programs, partnerships, joint events with business school, other alumni school, the US Embassy, and champagne tastings. But this exciting program are also the work of many people. I would like to thank the member of the Alumni Board of Governors, Stéphanie Veit, Sébastien Grepeau, and Arnaud Colombel from the Paris Center. On a personal note, I would like to thank my roommates who flew in today, my friends who are here, and especially my mother, who supported me through college and generously flew in from Paris. Let me conclude by saying that not only has our fun just begun, but I believe our Paris Club follows the mottos of our beloved alma mater, that crescat scienta vita exculatur, or in English, let knowledge grow from more to more, and so human life be enriched. Thank you very much for this generous award. Merci.
Corin Phillips, would you please come forward? The word relentless was used to describe the method by which Corin engages Boston area alumni and forges bonds between them and the University of Chicago. Corin has been a leader here at Chicago since day one. Since serving on her first reunion committee, she has participated in her local alumni community, is chair of the Alumni Schools Committee and the Young Alumni Group. Corin, for your relentless efforts on behalf of the University of Chicago, it is our pleasure to present you with the 2011 Young Alumni Service Award.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all for this generous award, particularly the Alumni Board of Governors. I had no idea that my time here coming to the university 10 years ago now would be so meaningful. So thank you very much. Thank you to my friends who are here as my family. Sorry, I'm a crier, but thank you very much, everyone. It's a tremendous honor.
Good morning. My name is Karen Hyman. As chair of the Alumni Awards Committee, member of the Alumni Board of Governors, it's been my distinct pleasure and honor to work with the Alumni Board of Governors, my friends on this stage, and in the audience who are dedicated in service to our alma mater. It is with the greatest respect and deepest gratitude that we present this award to two individuals who've given countless hours in service to the university. The Alumni Service Awards go to Elaine Ravish and Norman Winarski. Elaine, would you please come forward? Elaine Ravish has been the very model of alumni generosity for several decades. She has graced nearly every aspect of alumni community life with her thoughtfulness, empathy, dedication, sense of justice, and roll-up-your-sleeves helpfulness. For her leadership in ASC, her work in engaging classes of the 1960s and 70s, Her unfailing commitment and attention to fellow volunteers and leadership at ABG, the Baltimore Club, and to generations of university leaders and volunteers, we stand in her debt. It's my pleasure to award the Alumni Service Award to my friend and inspiration, Elaine Ravish.
I am thrilled to be standing here in Rockefeller Chapel accepting this award, and I want to thank the university and the Alumni Board of Governors for bestowing this honor. Karen and I met in Baltimore doing alumni work, and our ensuing friendship is an example of one of the great benefits of being involved in alumni activities. Through my work with the Alumni Schools Committee and the Alumni Board of Governors, I've met alumni from as early as the Hutchins era and graduates, newly minted graduates, and discovered that we really like each other's company. And what I value most about my involvement in Chicago alumni activities are the friendships that I've made with alumni spanning many generations. Thank you.
Norman Winarski has demonstrated extraordinary leadership of the Physical Sciences Division Visiting Committee. Each and every one of his nominators lauded him for his vision and commitment in reinvigorating this committee and establishing the Hubble Circle. A stronger divisional alumni community testifies to his transformative leadership. I am honored to present Norman Winarski with the Alumni Service Award.
Thank you, Alumni Board of Governors, the Visiting Committee of the Physical Sciences Division, faculty, friends, for your nomination. I received my bachelor's, master's, and PhD at Chicago in mathematics and learned from the greats like Anthony Zygmunt, Alberto Calderon, Paul Sally, Isaac Versip. I carried their lessons in how to comprehend, frame, and understand and analyze, and brought that with me throughout my whole career, and I am deeply grateful. Now, at last, all of this is together, working together with the visiting committee and with the leadership of our dean, Bob Pfefferman, and with our whole committee, we have been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a difference to a great university. I've never before been part of a team with so much collaborative and unparalleled skills and with such enormous energy and dedication. And so I'd like to accept this award as recognition of all our visiting committee and its accomplishments. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Michael Peters. The Alumni Service Medal is awarded for extraordinary and extended service to the university. This year, we recognize Chuck Schilke for his tireless support of the university he loves. Chuck's record of alumni engagement includes, but it's not limited to, serving as president of the Washington, D.C. Alumni Club, working on reunion committees, providing fundraising support, and serving for 6 years on the Alumni Board of Governors. If there has been an idea of how to bring alumni together, Chuck supported it or came up with it. It is Chuck who created Phoenix Fest to engage young alumni, now an annual event held in cities across the world. Those who know Chuck are familiar with his sense of humor and his aptitude for limericks. In that spirit, we offer this limerick written by one of his nominators. Alumni Service is Chuck's middle name. To Chicago, where he learned his game. O volunteer unsurpassed, it's our turn at last to step forth and honor your fame. Chuck Schilke, would you please come forward? It gives me great pleasure to acknowledge your service to the university by awarding you the 2011 Alumni Service Medal. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just 3 words of thanks. First, thanks to the university for its enhanced support of alumni affairs during my 15-year volunteer career. It's making a big difference and helping a lot of people. I'd also like to particularly thank the alumni staff during the time that I've been active volunteer, the Chris Love era, the Chris Singer era, the Tim Child era, and now the beginning of the Damon Cates era. And I wanted to single out a couple of alumni staffers who've made a particularly large contribution that alumni should understand. Susan Lipsitz-Cohen, really the founder of modern regional activities for clubs. Nancy LaCriere Beach, really the founder of modern Alumni Weekend, so all of you are enjoying this weekend largely due to her efforts. And Penny Petropoul, the founder of modern alumni career efforts. So these staffers and many others have made a particular contribution. And I'd also like to thank, of course, my mother, without whom I would not be here today and would have not made it through the university. And so I'm delighted she came up to Atlanta with her husband to see this. So thank all of you. And Howell Murray Award winners, we hope to see you back here receiving alumni awards sometime in the not too distant future. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Eva Lichtenberg. It's been 10 years since I received a Public Service Award from the university, and I'm honored to help introduce this along with the Professional Achievement and Norman McLean Faculty Award categories. The next group of honorees represents a wide span of countries, decades, and industries. Their achievements have brought distinction to themselves, credit to the university, and real benefit to society and the world. And now, Alumni Board of Governors member Judith Stein will begin by presenting the 2011 Public Service Awards.
Good morning. The Public Service Award honors a special combination of virtues: service above self, creativity, generosity. And those who receive this award are recognized not only for their individual achievements, but for their ability to inspire others. We present the 2011 Public Service Awards to Mariana Tax Cholden, Thomas Cole Jr., and Mahar Mungahas. Mariana Tax Cholden, would you please come forward? While access to knowledge is taken for granted by some Americans, many countries are denied similar rights. Mariana Tax Cholden has worked to open doors to librarians in Russia and other parts of the world. Her work embodies the motto of the University of Chicago: let knowledge grow from more to more. And so it is with great pride and special pleasure, because Mariana was a classmate and friend of mine, still is, and so it is with great pride that we present you with the Public Service Award.
When I was a little girl, I was riding down University Avenue, not far from here, on my father's shoulders when we met a neighbor. She looked up at me and exclaimed, "Oh, Mariana, how tall you are." I was concerned because evidently she didn't understand, so I explained. But all of this isn't me, and that's how I feel today. I'm riding on the shoulders of my family and of the hundreds of colleagues in Russia and around the world who worked and still worked with me to make things better. Thank you.
Thomas Cole Jr., would you please come forward? Thomas Cole Jr. has served the highest ideals of academic life. He has created and led new institutions, brought higher education to disadvantaged and minority populations, and left a comfortable retirement to serve as an interim chancellor. Dr. Cole brings distinction to all he touches with his scientific, academic, and professional leadership. We are pleased to honor you with the Public Service Award. Congratulations.
Good morning. I want you to believe all the good things she said about me. It does me all the good in the world and does you no harm. I think it's fair to say that everything I've done or that I've tried to do since leaving the university was connected directly or indirectly with what I learned here at the University of Chicago, mostly in the laboratories of Professor Philip Eden, who agreed to take me on as his first graduate student. And we were able to produce the first successful synthesis of the molecule cubane. So putting things together and also taking them apart then became part of my ritual from that point forward, whether it was serving as a chancellor or as a president or serving as a president of a theological school or what have you. And so I want to thank the Board of Governors of the Alumni Association for including me in this distinguished 2011 class. I want to thank Professor Eden for the leadership and the mentorship that he provided, along with other faculty in the Department of Chemistry. This university is like none other. It's extraordinary in every respect. I want to thank my family and my wife, Brenda, of 47 years, who put up with all my runnings around. And I want to acknowledge my cousin, Dorothy, and her husband, Nehemiah Davis, who came all the way from Fort Worth to be a part of this program. Thank you so much.
Mahar Mangahas, would you please come forward? The expression "information is power" applies directly to the work that Mahar Mangahas has undertaken. His decades of public opinion research and analysis of social survey data have been a powerful influence in helping the Philippines to define its identity and restore democracy. We are honored to present you with the Public Service Award.
Thank you, God, for your generosity. Ordinarily, that's enough. But I have to thank my parents, my schools, University of Chicago among them, of course, the friends, the Filipino friends I made here, and their spouses, with whom we created social weather stations. One of them is my wife, Thetis. She's one of the co-founders. Another one is Mercy Abad, seated over there. She's one of the co-founders. I want to thank the dedicated women and men of SWS who are doing all of this. There's Linda Guerrero over there and Jasmine Acuña over there, also University of Chicago. I want to thank Juanita Burris for nominating me and Tom Smith for endorsing me. And thank the Board of Governors, the Alumni Board of Governors for agreeing with them. Now, I have to thank our late beloved President, Corazon Aquino, for restoring democracy, without which opinion polling can barely survive. I want to give special thanks to the Philippine Supreme Court under Chief Justice Art Panganiban for their ruling that election surveys are protected by the constitutional guarantee of freedom of speech. And I want to thank, most of all, actually, the Filipino people as a whole, as demonstrated by their enthusiastic participation in opinion polling, and thereby manifesting that they believe that in this way their voices are really being heard. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Herb Kaplan, a member of the Alumni Board of Governors, and it is my honor today to introduce the 2011 Professional Achievement Awards, along with my fellow board member, Amy Gardner. Today we honor 6 individuals whose work ranges from medicine, economics, and international diplomacy to a judge, a speechwriter, and a violinist.
The impact of today's honorees is vast, and their accomplishments are of global significance. The 2011 Professional Achievement honorees are Sidney Hyman, Alfred Louis, Justin Yi-Fu Lin, Joel Smirnoff, James Zagel, and Sir Jeffrey Palmer.
Sidney Hyman, would you please step forward? Sidney Hyman is living history. He began his intellectual journey as a student in the great books courses of Robert Maynard Hutchins and Mortimer Adler, a World War II veteran. And he has written over 50 books on American history and served as a presidential speechwriter. He embodies the history of the 20th century. It is my honor and pleasure to present you with the Professional Achievement Award.
Last night, I confessed to one of the most important experiences I had as an undergraduate at the University of Chicago. It was in a great books course taught by Mortimer Adler and President Hutchins, and I turned in a paper on the 10th Federalist by Madison and expected to have him tell me that it was the finest thing since the Sermon on the Mount. Instead, I got back his comment, "This paper is much too long. You can throw half of it away, and it doesn't matter much which half." I was crushed, but in talking to him about it later on, he taught me an important lesson, which is this, that in writing, the word you strike out is silver, and the word you never utter at all is golden. And this is a critical lesson for a writer, which I've always tried to adhere to. I almost want to turn this celebration into an exercise in memory, because I think I'm about the last person alive out of my class. However, I am grateful for this award, and if I have any hesitation about accepting it, it's because I remember an episode in a Washington cocktail party where a general full of medals was asked what acts of valor the different ribbons on his tunic represented. And he pointed to the first one and said, "This medal was given to me by mistake, and all the rest followed logically." And I just hope that in the eyes of heaven, the award given to me was not based on a mistake combined with the University of Chicago penchant for strong logic.
Alfred Louis, would you please come forward? Dr. Louis' seminal research of circadian phase disorders has far-reaching implications in the explanation of how our biological rhythms are affected by a lack of sunlight. Through his work, Dr. Louis has shed his own light on winter depression, jet lag, blindness, and the impact of shift work on the human body. For these achievements, we present you the Professional Achievement Award.
Thank you very much to the board and to the award committee and to Dr. Philip Lissagor, who couldn't make it today due to a family conflict. And I would like to thank my fellow students, past and present, and all the wonderful years of being at the University of Chicago, as well as my former teachers like Dr. Rowley, who I'm thrilled to be in the same presentation that she's going to be getting her great award. I'm also pleased to acknowledge Dr. John Herman and Dr. John Davis, who are here as my guests. Dr. Herman flew in from Texas, for their lifelong support of my research and for their own brilliant contributions in the area of sleep and psychiatric disorders. And finally, I'd like to thank my depressed patients and the blind people who have inspired me with their stories to research the causes of their problems and to develop treatments for their problems, and to thank their participation in my research studies. Thank you.
Justin Yifu Lin, would you please step forward? Justin Yifu Lin's name has a Confucian reference to a persistent man on a long journey. From founding director of the China Center for Economic Reform to substantial scholarly work, arriving at his current tenure at the World Bank, we are pleased to mark this world-changing pathway with the Professional Achievement Award.
Thank you for the board. Thank you for all of you here. I would like to say, without the education from the University of Chicago, I would have been an ordinary man. So the award today is a recognition instead of my personal achievement. It's a recognition of the value of education I received from this great institution. I would like to take this occasion to thank my professors during my PhD years. Some of them are here: Professor Gary Bakers, Professor George Torrey, for the inspiration, enlightenment, support that I received and I continue to receive from them even after I graduate from the University of Chicago. I would also like to thank my wife, who has been extremely understanding and supportive during the years that I had to work so hard. And I see some of my students and friends here. So the tradition of Chicago continues from me and to the younger generation. Thank you very much.
Joel Smirnoff, would you please come forward? Joel Smirnoff is a significant force in classical music today. His multifaceted musical career includes serving as president of the Cleveland Institute of Music, former chair of the Juilliard School's violin department, member of the Juilliard String Quartet, and conducting and performing all over the world. It is an honor to present you with the Professional Achievement Award.
I can't tell you what a thrill it is to be back sitting in this chancel where I got to play the Brahms German Requiem and Elijah, and up in the loft there, many, many messiahs in my 20s with the great violinist Elliot Golub, who's with us here today, came down with his wife Mona. I'd like to thank my wife Joan Kwan for making it in from Caracas, where she played the Brahms Concerto on Thursday night. And I'd like to thank Joan Sporl, by the way, in Cleveland, who nominated me today for this beautiful honor. I feel so deeply honored to be remembered and celebrated by the University of Chicago, the great educational institution which allowed me and so many others to face life's challenges, fascinations, and riches with the confidence that they could be described, understood, met, and cherished. In the wake of having this year I just got a Lifetime Grammy, as did all the members of the Juilliard for my 23 years in the quartet. This award actually holds a much deeper meaning for me, and I think this award is actually harder to get than the Lifetime Grammy. It is my time at the University of Chicago that made it possible for me to become the musician and the inquiring mind that I remain to this day. I give all credit to my dear departed history professor, Eric Cochran, and my English professor, still around but not here, Bill Carpenter, for the ability to find the right performing style, sound, and expression for Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven, which could never be possible without having a deep appreciation and feeling for the significance of the Enlightenment and for its political implications. I came here at a time when a command of the intellectual tools that define our existence and life's contradictions had become an urgent necessity. The U of C bestowed that command upon us, which would serve us throughout our lives. I'd like to thank the Alumni Board of Governors for considering me, and I congratulate each member of this beautiful group of awardees today. I feel very, very honored to be among you. Thank you so much.
Judge James Zagel, would you please step forward? Described as one of the preeminent federal judges in the United States, James Zagel has earned a reputation for fairness and impartiality. From his beginnings as a prosecutor to his leadership as director of the Illinois State Police, James Zagel has distinguished himself with great pride that I present the Alumni Achievement Award today to my former colleague, Judge James Zagel.
As the little note in the book says, I am related by blood to a very large number of people who attended and graduated from the University of Chicago, all of them incidentally from the north side of Chicago. I want to thank, first of all, my wife, not a graduate of the University of Chicago, a graduate of Newcomb College at Tulane, who somehow over the years has learned to cope with a U of C type. I also thank the Alumni Board of Governors, but I do want to thank in particular 4 alumni, none of whom are with us today, who were most responsible for my decision to attend this university. My Uncle Joseph of the class of 1914, my Uncle Abraham from the class of 1916, my Uncle Albert from the class of 1929, a great year to graduate, and my cousin Haskell from the class of 1948. Thank you very much.
Our final honoree, Sir Geoffrey Palmer, cannot be here today, but shared the following statement. He writes, "Kia ora from New Zealand. I am sad not to be with you. I have been looking forward to the occasion. To attend would have required me to return to the United States 10 days after reaching home following a demanding assignment in New York. It just seemed a bridge too far. I was so fortunate to have been a British Commonwealth Fellow at Chicago. The experience opened and stretched my mind in many ways from which I benefit still. I owe the law school a lot. My thanks to the university." And now Katrina Vidal, co-chair of the Alumni Awards Committee, will present the Norman McLean Faculty Awards.
The Norman McLean Award carries the name of a beloved professor of English who came to the University of Chicago for graduate school and remained for his entire professional career. This award recognizes outstanding teaching in the university by a senior faculty member. Today we honor two distinguished faculty members. Students, past and present, are passionate in describing how these teachers inspired, mentored, challenged, and taught them, often beyond the classroom or laboratory. And now former students will share reflections on the honorees. Gregory Hillhouse, professor of chemistry, and his former student, Mark Banaszak Hall.
It is a great honor and delight to present Gregory Hillhouse, the Norman McLean Faculty Award. Greg has been an outstanding teacher, mentor, and guide to undergraduates at the University of Chicago. In a time of increasing pressure on science faculty to compete for grants, Greg continues to set undergraduate mentoring as a top professional priority. He engages and encourages his students as they explore the fields available to them as part of a liberal education in Chicago, and he works with them to achieve their professional goals, even, or perhaps especially, those whose goals fall outside his own field of chemistry. Some of my fondest memories of conversations with Greg are related to an art history course that I took. For other students, his interest and support of their athletics was of crucial importance. If you're a student of Greg's, you'll likely hear him cheering from the sidelines at one of your games. That's right. One of the country's great chemists will take the time to show up. It's no small thing. Greg, please accept this small token of gratitude given to you on behalf of 3 decades of your students.
Well, it's really a special honor to have been nominated for the McLean Award by a great group of former college students who got their first taste of research working in my lab as undergraduates. And it's really absolutely nothing in my 28 years on the Chicago faculty that's been more rewarding than to watch these kids bloom as independent thinkers and scientists, and then go on to have their own fabulous careers. I'm grateful to them and to the Alumni Board of Governors for this wonderful award I'm receiving. I thank them and you very much. Thank you.
George Stocking Jr., Stein-Freiler Distinguished Service Professor Emeritus of Anthropology's former students, Maddie Brunzel, and Gabrielle Lyon.
George, I am so happy to present you with this award, the Norman McLean Faculty Award. Simply put, George taught me everything that I know about how to be a scholar. His work is of the highest caliber and inspired me to become an academic. It was literally reading one of George's magisterial books, Victorian Anthropology, that had a young undergrad decide, I have to come to University of Chicago to study with this great man. But it was really your personal example that has shaped me. To this day, I have never met a more humble and ethical scholar, someone with a greater sense of responsibility or a greater appreciation for the privilege and the burden of being a historian. Every day, I try to live up to George's example. And while I keenly feel my failure in this respect, I am forever grateful for the gift that you have given me. I will always be honored to call myself your student. Thanks, George.
I have a quick little story about our teacher, George Stocking, and any student can relate to this. You walk into the professor's office, and he's holding your paper, and there are a lot of marks on it. And so I'm sitting there quite nervous. He has my manuscript, and he's pointing out on the second line where he circled, I think here you have written all intensive purposes, but I think you meant all intent and purposes. And I was kind of stunned. I said, I always thought the phrase always was intensive purposes. And he pondered for a moment, and then he lit up and with a great laugh said, well, you know, I think in some cases it could be intensive purposes, but I don't think that's what you meant here. And this is really kind of epitomizes, I think, many of us in our experience with George. It's really a great sense of humor, but at the same time, a real sense of seriousness about text. And to balance those two in this kind of august institution is rare, too rare. Carol and George welcomed many strays like Matty and I into their home, into their place in Indiana, and made us feel like we were part of a community, and then inspired us to, in our own ways, continue that tradition of creating community around thought and ideas and laughter. George is really a very rare kind of intellectual at this institution. We're in a moment where education pressures us to be our most reduced, most focused self. And George is the kind of person, and is a person, who opens us up to be our fullest selves. And so we're so pleased that you're receiving this award, and we thank you for being our teacher.
I'd like to say a word or two about several people who are here who were very important in my life. One is my doctor, Dan Browner, who has done a great deal to keep me going for the last few years. Another is Ray Fogelson of the anthropology department, who introduced me to my wife, Carol Bowman, who's back there hiding behind dark glasses. And who, as a matter of fact, got her PhD in sociology in an earlier ceremony of this sort, at which she was greatly privileged to be handed the document by another president of this university, Hannah Gray. So with that, well, the women in my life have been very important. My wife is signaling me to shut up.
My name is John Davey. On behalf of the Alumni Board of Governors, it's my great honor and personal pleasure to present the Alumni Medal to Janet Rowley. Not everyone can say they waved to a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient riding her bike, but as my fellow Hyde Parkers are aware, you can often see Dr. Rowley pedaling through the campus. Educated and trained at the University of Chicago, Dr. Rowley has dedicated her life to understanding how changes in human chromosomes correlate with the occurrence of various diseases, including cancer. This research opened the door for today's understanding of the genetic basis of disease. The New York Times recently referred to her as the matriarch of modern genetics. Dr. Rowley, mother, wife, scientist, has influenced countless lives of students in the Division of Biological Sciences and the Pritzker School of Medicine. Janet Rowley, could you step forward? For your dedication to the study of human genetics, groundbreaking discoveries in cancer research, and long-standing commitment to the university as a professor and an alumna, it is with great pride and affection that we award you the 2011 Alumni Medal.
Well, I have to say that I've spent many hours in this chapel, and I'm sure that's true of some others of you. Mine were both as a student, and then, as you can see from the number of degrees after my name, multiple times in wonderful occasions here. And so it's a special thrill to be here and to receive this marvelous honor, and I thank the Board of Directors of the Alumni Association for this major honor. My roots at the University of Chicago run deep and over a long period of time. My parents were graduates. My husband and his uncle were graduates, and we have many, my husband and I have many other descendants, our sons and a grandson who's here, and a granddaughter who's, this grandson is in the college, the granddaughter is at the lab school. And between all of us together, my husband calculated that we have about 13 degrees from the University of Chicago at varied levels. So I think that's an evidence of 4 generations of Davisons and Rowleys who have benefited from this institution. When I was 15, my mother suggested that I apply for one of the scholarships to the four-year college, which had been developed in the 1930s by Robert Maynard Hutchins. And I have to say that coming to the four-year college in 1940 was a transformative event for me. They treated me as an intelligent, responsible individual who wanted to learn. And as a junior in high school, because that's what I really was at the time, that was just an absolutely shocking, revolutionary way to be treated. And I'm eternally grateful that the university and the four-year college provided me with that kind of opportunity. I received my MD in 1948, and I had met my husband skating under the North Stands earlier, and the day after we graduated, or I graduated, we were married. I returned to the university in 1962 after having started a family and also having some postgraduate training. And the things that I learned in the college independent thinking, and this has been mentioned by others here, and I think it is such a valuable lesson and ability to think independently and to think and have ideas that go against a current dogma. And that was certainly my case. In 1970, the chromosome changes in cancer were considered to be random. They were consequences of cancer, leukemia, not the cause. And my research here at the university showed that that notion was wrong. And I had the courage of my conviction to pursue my views, and gradually, fortunately for me, I was able to persuade others that chromosome changes in some situations in leukemia were very consistent. They were diagnostic of a particular subtype of leukemia. And I was fortunate in being able to show that in one form of leukemia, chronic myelogenous leukemia, or CML, the ends of chromosomes were swapped, and that was a translocation. And I found a number of other translocations, each uniquely associated with a particular type of leukemia. Now, this has real importance because the genes that are at these translocation breakpoints are associated with abnormal, uncontrolled growth. And for two of them, we understand enough about the causes and the mechanisms of abnormality within the cell that we can have drugs that specifically target these genetic abnormalities and lead to remarkable treatments that prolong life. And for some of the patients, we can almost use the word cure. Unfortunately, there are a number of leukemias that we haven't found the magic bullet for, and that is the reason why at age 86, I go to the lab, not full days, but parts of every day or most every day, to encourage my colleagues to work on this problem of trying to find out what we can use for all of the leukemias, because that really is a challenge, and for some people, unfortunately, the diagnosis of leukemia is a death sentence, and we have to change that. So I also want to thank all the students that I've had. We've been able to entice students from the lab school and other high schools, from the college, from graduate school and medical school, to work in the lab and to work on these challenges. And I'm also grateful to my laboratory staff who've been so dedicated and who sort of put up with my sometimes wild ideas with grace and good humor. And finally, I want to thank my husband, Donald, who is an experimental immunologist whose career was also here at the University of Chicago, and who's professor emeritus in the Path Department. My son David, who is a professor in geophysical sciences, and my other sons and grandchildren for their understanding and support in my life of research. So you can see why this particular honor and sharing it with such outstanding candidates gives me such enormous pleasure. Thank you.
On behalf of the Alumni Association, congratulations again to our student medalists and Alumni Award winners. Together, you represent the very best of Chicago. Your dedication to this university and the talents that you bring to this world are a significant part of what makes our alumni community thrive. Thank you for joining us in this special ceremony. I hope that you will continue to revel in the spirit of celebration throughout the day at the University Picnic at Ratner Athletic Center, the Uncommon Core discussions later this afternoon, and at all the other parties, receptions, and fine offerings the rest of this weekend promises. Let the celebration continue.